Joining me today is Tim Rochman. He's the VP of Energy Sales with EagleView. Tim, can you tell me, when did the business start? Why did the business start? And when did EagleView cross paths into the solar industry?
Yeah, thanks, Nick. Appreciate it. EagleView's actually been around one form or another since 2000. In 2000, we pioneered aerial imagery and, moreover, even the oblique capture of aerial imagery, and we were called pictometry out of Rochester, New York. In 2007, some other really smart folks figured out how to take aerial imagery and kind of bolt together a top-down and a couple of side views and create a super accurate 3D model inside a computer, and that was EagleView. In 2013, we merged. Now we can say that we touch over 45,000 roofing contractors in a year. We work with pretty much every insurance company you've heard of. We are suppliers to 2/3 of the counties in the United States, and we touch probably 60% of residential solar installs in one fashion or another. We really hit solar. We came to solar in 2014, but at that point, it was really a repurposed product for a roofer. Kind of worked, a little hard to use. Last SPI, so October, we finally launched our Inform product line for solar and have not looked back.
Yeah, and it's great to hear you mention that informed product. I know that's been going, really well with EagleView and the install partners you guys work with. What separates the EagleView informed products from your competitors? What makes you guys stand out more than anyone else?
Yeah, no, Jeremy, great call. EagleView is data. So you say, who is our competition? I'm not sure who it is. Is it a tape measure? Is it on-roof measurement? Is it tracing on a picture? I mean, because we're the largest supplier of aerial imagery as well. What we provide is certified, high-fidelity, commercial-grade data to the solar industry, and that's measurement sets of structures, roofs with obstructions, etc., and shade, certified shade, accepted by finance companies. So what sets us apart is that veracity of data, that fidelity of data, that granularity of data that an entity like Greenlancer can take in and create a super accurate plan set with no site visit necessary.
Perfect. So Tim, could you tell me, what type of challenges is EagleView facing today?
Like everyone, it starts with the COVID pandemic, right? We're down 38% of the residential solar workforce right now. We're down a third for installs year over year. So that's just a major temporal challenge I think we all are facing. If you get a little broader than that, if you can, or extend the time frame a little broader than that, if you will, the main challenge EagleView is facing in the solar industry is just one of notoriety. We broke the mold. So when we talk to companies, EPCs, installers, both local and national, and we say, hey man, we've got this phenomenal data set. They go, oh cool, are you a design tool? And we say, no, we go into a design tool. Oh, okay, so you create plan sets? No, we partner with folks that create plan sets. And they said, oh, and there's just, we find a lot of people need to find a familiar bucket in which to place this description of what is EagleView. We're a category to ourselves. We're guaranteed accurate measurement sets and shade data for the residential solar industry. It's just, we got to get that word out. It's new. It's been since SPI. We're making huge traction. Thanks for the podcast, but it's still kind of an early stage.
Awesome. So Tim, I got to tell you something kind of cool. Prior to me joining forces with Greenlancer, I was a customer of Greenlancer installing solar in Michigan. And when I would do that, I would have to do my own designs, my own permits, all of that fun stuff. And I was a subscriber to SolarGraph, and I was using SolarGraph. and I was using EagleView measurements on all of my proposals, and swear to God, my measurements came in to fractions of an inch of what I was putting together on my solar graph proposals to when I would go into the field, up onto the roof, and make my measurements. So I can personally attest to someone before Greenlancer and EagleView even had these conversations that the technology works. It really does.
Yeah, Nick, thanks a ton, man. I appreciate the validation. We've measured over 10 million roofs. We do over 20,000 roofs a day. It stands up in court. We know it's right. We're just bringing it to solar.
No, it's incredible what you guys are doing. And Tim, I remember our conversation at Solar Power, or InterSolar rather, and we're talking about this, and you're mentioning that, how accurate these roof measurements are. And, just out of caution, I said, okay, I understand, maybe they are this accurate, but we'll see. And sure enough, we see time and time again, they work out well. And, we want to continue with that momentum and, continue like providing the integrity of that data to what Greenlancer does well, which is permits. The idea of what else is that kind of the biggest area that you see we could improve this industry is the integrity of the data with EagleView and the permitting expertise from Greenlancer?
I think it all flows. So one of the biggest areas of improvement we can bring, I think, is what I like to call, in one way, kind of the avoidance of a negative surprise. So if you think of the residential solar project lifecycle, when a project is initiated with a data set, and that data set could be used to create this proposal, after financing is approved and contracts are signed and inspections are made, this industry seems to be comfortable with the concept of a true up, right? And a plan set then to be created of reality, which creates a negative surprise in many cases for the homeowner or the end customer. But if that data set is consistent from all the way from the beginning, all the way through install and O&M, you avoid that negative surprise and you streamline that client acquisition. The industry is extremely efficient in the EPC portions, right? I think we've squeezed just about as much as we can from the operations of a residential solar project, but customer acquisition costs are high. And with us accepting the fact of building in a necessity for correction and change, we're going to have a hard time cleaning up that customer acquisition cost. Right. So, I mean, I could make the shameless plug that, the Greenlancer clients should, grab an EagleView data set early on when they go for their proposal coming out of Greenlancer, right? And then that same data flow goes all the way through and creates a stellar sterling plan set. The efficiency is vast.
I think it's new information to take in, the idea of collecting all the information you need on site and being able to do it remotely. It's very interesting.
Correct.
And, I think installers could find ways that they can leverage that technology to benefit their install process.
As an installer, I can tell you it helps. It helps tremendously. I installed projects that were 4.5 hours away from where I was really based out of. And I could tell you there was a time that I drove up to Traverse City, Michigan from Metro Detroit just to go take a final measurement because I was paranoid that something wasn't going to fit to code. Had I known about this a couple of years ago, I could tell you right now, I would have used this service right then and there, because I guarantee you I paid more in gas there and back than it would have been for me to just get some roof measurements and what I would have been looking at, because I was trying to do my own math and I was looking at different units of the building itself off of Google Imagery. And I'm like, you know what? This just does not, I got to just go drive up there and see it. But for a scenario like that, if you're looking to expand your footprint, but you're trying to save costs of going out into the field, again, I think it's a great solution. So Tim, you guys have jumped into solar with both feet. With you and your vision for EagleView, where do you want things to be? Where do you see things being 5 years from now with EagleView in the solar industry? What are your goals?
Nick, so you said it. We've jumped in with both feet. The way I look at it from an EagleView perspective is that we've seen this movie before. We're measuring 20,000 roofs a day for insurance and construction primarily. We can say we throw a good, call it 1,000 a day in there for solar. I am on a mission to bring that same reality to solar so that we are the ubiquitous, undisputed standard in the industry for measurement sets, 3D roof geometries, and for shade. We know our shade's great. It's already bankable. It's accepted by at least one major financier so far. And remember, we've only been doing it since September. So we're bringing it to the industry. And the reason is not just because it makes EagleView successful. The reason is it facilitates adoption of residential solar. It makes it easy, makes it fast. There's all the benefits we know about that with obvious inclusion of storage, and with the post-pandemic trends of more stay at home and the impacts to the grid and the resiliency and wildfires and all the reasons why resi solar is so important. What this does is universal standard upon which we can rely that is consumer protection, it's financier protection and prediction of performance, it's lubrication of process, all of the above. So just to wrap it all back up, I see within 5 years that the understanding, knowledge, adoption of what EagleView brings, I think it's going to be a standard in the industry, and it's going to really facilitate maturation of the residential market.
Yeah, it's great to see you guys have proven the model in the insurance industry, and now, we're starting to see how the same technology can be leveraged by installers nationwide. And that's what we've identified as an opportunity, and we want to provide this to installers and let them take advantage of it.
You better believe it. I mean, Greenlancer is the perfect last mile for this type of data set. It is a data set. It's not an end user computer program or service. So with the partnership with Greenlancer, it really provides that consumability, that usability, that ease of consumption that brings, again, that veracity to the permit set, and the reliability or trust from the, not that it wasn't trustworthy before, believe me, I get it, but just Nick, as you said, right? It's right. You can bank on it both mentally and financially. And so you guys are a wonderful kind of window to the world for EagleView, and we really appreciate the partnership.
Hey, it's been incredible working with your team. Everyone's been very responsive, very pleasant to work with, and us Midwesterners, we got to stick together. So it's been a fun ride. And you guys aren't even limiting yourselves to just this technology. I mean, you guys have mobilized a workforce nationwide as well. At first to help out the insurance industry, but we're very curious to hear more about what you guys can offer to installers in the solar industry.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that one up. It's a shift we're in the process of making. We have thousands of technicians across the 50 U.S. states today inspecting and helping to settle insurance claims. It's just a natural next step, not even a leap. And we're in about 7 states right now performing interior solar inspection, site audit. So, the remote data set that EagleView is famous for is everything outside, the complete exterior part of that site survey. But when you need to understand more about the main panel and the rafters and any specific areas you might have for storage, for example, we're rolling out that capability nationally in the solar capacity. And I think you got a button on the Greenlancer platform already for it, Jeremy. in a controlled fashion, right?
Absolutely. We enjoy the controlled chaos. And so we're telling me that, and Nick, you can kind of attest as a former installer that an installer could, potentially sell, a residential installation to a homeowner. And this could be done remotely, which is very real in, this COVID-19 era. And from there, EagleView could collect all of the roof measurement information and also mobilize a professional to show up at home and collect the remaining information, allowing the installer to only show up on the job site when the job is ready to be installed. Is that kind of the advantage we want to bring to installers?
Absolutely. So whether you're an experienced solar installer or if you're brand new to it, you need to understand that your roof measurements are only so much of the project. It's a little bit different than the roofing industry. You do have to go inside. You do need to look at the condition of the main service panel. You need to make sure that there's enough room to add a dedicated breaker for solar. So I think it's awesome what you guys have done, Tim, is to allow it to say, hey, you can remotely sell and design a system with everything that you need at a site service inspection. And I've heard that there's been some companies who have been doing some digital calls and having customers do some of the inspection work for them and looking for things. But that's a burden that I don't think is necessarily appropriate to put on the homeowner. They're coming to you. They want you to, help them out. So if you can deploy someone into the field to look at the things that you can't capture from the roof, you're saving yourself a lot of time. You're saving yourself full-time salary of someone going out and having a site inspector or anything like that. It's just a great way, I think, to scale your business, like I said earlier, to expand outside of your current geographic footprint. Like I said, if you're doing something that's not in your typical territory and you're going, do I really want to drive 2 or 3 hours one way to a project if I don't even know if I'm going to get it or if it's even in condition? With EagleView, it's a heck of a lot cheaper to measure the roof, to see the condition of the roof, to see what you can actually fit to code. But not just that, you can actually get one of their members to go out into the field and look at the condition of the service panel to make sure that everything fits to what you're trying to install. And the last thing I'd like to say, and this is, again, coming from someone who has used both of you individually before actually being on this side of the fence, I think it's the perfect marriage because EagleView is top-notch when it comes to satellite imagery and everything else that I just talked about. And Greenlancer really is top-notch when it comes to getting your permits and your engineering done remotely without having to have the overhead cost of retaining someone's salary in-house or worrying about the inflow and outflow of projects. By having a standardized scope of work and a standardized pricing, it really is the perfect blends of two technologies that I already loved well before I knew either of you.
Thanks for that, Nick. That's great. Dare I say, one throat to choke, right? It solves all of those problems. It's scalable. It's rampable, right? It's modular, whether you're experienced or whether you're just getting started in solar. That's right.
I think it's perfect, and that's why I think it's so beneficial. And I always like to say to people that were new to solar, because it still doesn't seem like that long ago that I was new to solar. And then I have people now, they're calling me asking for advice. It's like, when did that happen? I guess I do know what I'm talking about. But these offerings that are out there right now, I think the biggest obstacle, and I know we asked you earlier, what was the biggest obstacle? I just think people just need to know what's out there. And that's what we're trying to do. I think that both of us have a perfect solution.
Well, thanks. Thanks for that. I think it's a great fit. Great fit.
Definitely. So I'd like, if you guys could, I'd like you to both let people know how they could get a hold of you. We'll start with Tim and any other closing notes that you guys would like to leave people with.
It's great. No, thank you. I want to thank both y'all again for today and moreover, just for the bigger picture. Can't wait to see this thing go full blown on steroids. It's pretty exciting. I'm easy to get a hold of. It's Tim Rochman, Rochman. So it's tim.rochman@eagleview.com, or just hit me on LinkedIn.
Wonderful. Thank you, Tim. Really appreciate that. You can contact Greenlancer. You can go to their website, greenlancer.com. Our main line is 866-436-1440. be happy to talk with you and help you out any way we can.
Wonderful. That will conclude today's
Awesome.
segment of the Solar Spotlight with Tim Rochman, the VP of Energy Sales at EagleView, and Jeremy Duston, the VP of Solar at Greenlancer. Gentlemen, thank you both for your time. I appreciated both of you being on here today.
Thanks, Nick.